If your jobs have slowed down dramatically around this time of year, then this is the video for you. And this one, me and Mike are going to be sharing a couple different strategies for you to get more jobs coming into your business in a traditionally slower time of the year. But if you stick around to the end, we're also going to be sharing with you a mindset shift that we had to make in our own business in order for us to level up and make more money more consistently. And I would say that's probably the most important part of this video is just the mindset in itself. But we're also doing 50% off every single tier within Quote IQ Cam right now for the launch. So if you're tired of storing all your job photos and videos on your phone and being unorganized, then this is the app for you. Quote IQ Cam allows you to capture job photos and videos and save them under your business contacts. It makes taking before and after pictures super easy and allows you to build pre and post inspection forms and export them to your customers in just a matter of minutes. So if you're interested, be sure to check out the first link in the comment section description. Or if you want me and Mike's help one-on-one to coach you and help you start or scale your business, then check out the second link in the comment section description. That'll be to our one-on-one coaching. One of our students actually landed a $10,000 job just after the first class. So if you're interested, check that out. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Some of the guys come to us and they say, you know, we're in that August, July slump. The slump comes about because of a few different issues. I think one of which being the lead flow isn't there. Like, yes, business does slow down, but a lot of the guys that we talk to are relying on 1, 2, maybe 3 sources. But for the most part, it's very limited. So I personally think that's where a lot of the slump comes from, because when you're diversified, you got lead flow coming in from a lot of different places. Wouldn't you say so, Mike?
Yeah. And if you can plan ahead, I mean, I know I've been in business a long time, but even if you've been in business a couple years, you know that this time of year is traditionally slower than the rest. So what do? There are multiple things you can do. You amp up your marketing, you plan ahead and schedule out for this time, right? If there's opportunities for commercial work, apartment communities, HOA things that you've quoted out, you can do what I do. And I say, hey, listen, if you schedule for July or you schedule for August, we will offer a 15% discount or whatever you feel comfortable offering. And then, that's a really good thing. I think planning is critical, and planning in every aspect, from the logistical aspect of, scheduling the jobs out if you are capable of doing that, or scheduling or, planning on and amping up your ad spend. And that's another thing, Justin, and we're going to talk about it, but there are so many people that will bitch and complain about things. I don't have enough leads, or I don't want to invest in education. That's too expensive. The CRM is too expensive. Well, like, it just blows my mind. Like, you're just unwilling to make the investment in yourself. You don't trust yourself, but like, it's a mindset thing, and you have to be able to spend money to make money. And specifically what I'm talking about here is with your ads, right? Yes, June, July, or July and August are traditionally slow. So spend $1,000 more, right? Put it aside, save it. To me, I am so tired of people whining about it being slow. Yeah, do something about it.
The thing is expensive is relative to where you're at, right? And expensive might be a threshold for you, but the only way to surpass that threshold is to make the bet on yourself. And if you never do that, if you never you'll never push it, right? Because you'll always kind of stay stagnant and stay where you're at. And that's what we get. We get a lot of guys, calling us or coming in on the one-on-one coaching because they're like, hey, I've been doing things a certain way for a long time, and I'm getting the same results over and over. Because at the end of the day, if you want to see new results, you need to do new things. And a lot of the things that would really push the needle forward in our business are things that we avoid because they're the uncomfortable things that we've been avoiding for a long time. But me and Mike kind of make that impossible, because every week we press in and we say, what did you do? What did you do? And if you do not come and show up how we think you should be showing up, then we'll challenge you on it, right? Like, Mike, we have a guy in one of our classes where we've actually had guys in previous classes that have completely quit because they were challenged every single week on the actions that they were taking, but they weren't taking the proper actions, and therefore they decided that instead of being scolded in the group, they would rather just bounce and leave, right? Because that was easy.
And then they continue the mediocrity of their lives, the mediocrity of their businesses, and that's a tragic thing, right? If we were talking about this earlier today, and a lot of it comes, and I can speak on this because I was there at one point, comes to the ego, and maybe some arrogance, where you're not necessarily happy or comfortable where you are, right? You want to better yourself, but you don't think that you're doing anything wrong, right? You think you've got it all figured out. You've got it under control. And if that was the case, then why aren't you happy where you're at? Why isn't your business growing? Why aren't you getting more customers? Why aren't you charging more? These are all things that, sometimes it takes somebody else, an outside force, to, kind of grab you by the back of the neck and say, hey man, like, you need to change what you're doing, and we can show you exactly what you need to, to do, but you have to do it. We can't make you. We can tell you. You can watch as much YouTube and Google and read as much and many books, but unless you decide you're going to do it, nothing is going to change. And that's where accountability, and that's where me kicking your ass, it can help, right? And the guys that actually implement, those are the guys that see the success. Those are the guys that get out what they put in. It's like at a bank, right? If you go to the bank and you've never put any money in, you can go up to the teller and say, hey, I need to get some money out, right? And they'll be like, get out of here. You've never put any money in. You're like, you're a bank, you got money. Well, it's the same with your business, right? Unless you put in the effort, unless you put in the sweat equity, unless you invest in yourself and your education and everything else, then if you don't do that, you're never going to get anything back out. But when you do, you're going to get out 10x what you put in. And people just sometimes they have to break that mindset and get into you know, get into a different state of mind.
There's a saying that says if you knew better, you would do better. And sometimes when you're in the weeds of your business, you can't see outside of those weeds. And that's why me and Mike have spent so much money on coaching and training and bringing people in to say, what are we missing here? Right? Me and Mike, we don't come in here and tell you guys what you should do. We actually live it day in, day out. And so we are constantly learning and implementing and finding coaches that can continue to level us up. And that expensive meter for us has really, like, we continue to press up, press up, press up, but we had to be uncomfortable for a little while in order to in order to get past it. So I would
And
say okay.
it was so hard, right? Especially like Justin be like, hey, I found this guy. He, has a software business, and he sold it to whoever for, $30 million. And he wants, like, it was like, how much was that guy? He was like $3,000 for like an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like, I am unwilling to give this dude $3,000 for an hour of his time. Like, yeah, I'm sure he's smart, and yeah, he built a business, and yeah, he sold the business, but like, I'm pretty smart myself. I think I probably can. And then and then Justin's like, no, like, we don't know. We need to surround ourselves with people that are smarter, that have been there, that have done that. Right. And we wrote the check, so to speak. We got in there with the guy. We ended up, I think we spent like 2 hours, if not more, with him. And there was a lot to be gained. There was a lot of knowledge that we were able to take away that we had no idea. I mean, I had just page after page of notes of stuff. He was just spitting, and it was like all second nature to him. It was like, yeah, like he talks about it like it was just like no big deal. And we're like, oh my God, that's a gem. We need to implement that today. And so when you write the check, you're more obligated to yourself to implement. And that's one of the biggest things that I talk about is implementation. People can consume all they want, but if they don't implement, if they don't follow through, then none of it matters. And that's where accountability comes. That's where holding yourself accountable. That's where, investing in yourself and knowing that somebody's going to be there to say, okay, are you doing what you're supposed to do? Because if you're not, then what's the point of any of it?
Right. And the thing I told Mike is if we pay $3,000 and he shows us how to get 30, then it's like it was well worth it, right? I think the biggest thing we took from that call was that he was just a normal guy first and foremost. And it was like after speaking with him, it was like if he could do it, then there's no reason why me and Mike cannot do it. And then the other thing was he took the lid off the jar for us, right? So for us, like there's like a lid, there's like a ceiling that we've set for ourselves in our own head. And when we speak to somebody that's surpassed that so far, it's like there's all these new possibilities now from talking to them. So it's a mindset shift. It's being able to see someone in a position you want to go to and knowing that it's possible to get there. And then it's also just when you pay attention. And so just like Mike said, we took tons of notes. We took tons of actionable steps from that call. And I would say it really propelled our business. So how do you get rid of, that July, August slump? You do better. You plan better. You become better in all facets of your business. And, that's something that you learn year 2, year 3, but where could you have invested the money to take that learning curve off the table and not have to go through, the slump, right, Mike?
Oh, 100%.